Hello, I'm Katrina Brooks. I'm an educational psychologist and part of the Family Learning and Support Hub, which is part of the Bristol Autism team.
And I'm Josie Ball, and I also am part of the Bristol Autism team. Also, I'm a mummy of two children who have been diagnosed with autism and have lots of autism in the family. So I've got lots of experience, and we're hoping we can share some help with you.
We're just doing three videos because lots of parents that we've spoken to have said that their children are having trouble settling back into school, which is totally understandable when they've been at home potentially for 2.5 months, or perhaps they've been at school, but it's been very small groups and it's felt quite different. So we just wanted to bring a few ideas of some of the things that seem to be helping children to be settling back in, to get used to school again. This one's going to be thinking particularly about understanding emotions. As we said, it's a tricky time for some of our families. There's big changes, which we know our children with autism can find quite difficult. I mean, it's difficult for adults, it's difficult for all of us at the moment as things gradually change and we gradually have different expectations on us. So we need to be understanding of that there's big things happening. Our children might show their heightened emotions in lots of different ways. It might be that they're having trouble sleeping, might be that they're waking early, might be that you're seeing very clingy behaviours and that they don't really want to leave your side. It might be that they're showing more distressed behaviours, or they're reluctant to go to school perhaps, and getting out of the door in the morning is tricky. Might be that you're seeing more sensory behaviours, perhaps they're doing more spinning or needing more time on the trampoline. I think it's important that we all kind of acknowledge that we're all juggling quite a lot at the moment, and as parents you're juggling a lot. So we're just giving you a few ideas, but please be realistic with what you can fit in and what works for you. You know, there's a lot of tiredness around, and it's very understandable if, you know, getting them out of the door in the morning is a big enough achievement. But there's just a few ideas here, just in case there's anything else that might support. I think one of the first steps that we think about when we're thinking about emotions and how to help our children deal with the different emotions they might be having is by us as adults modelling and telling them what's going on for us a little bit, so that they begin to understand, okay, we all feel different things about different places. So an example might be, you know, when you're in the playground, wow, the playground seems really busy. I'm not used to busy places. I'm going to take a really deep breath to help me feel calmer. So that we're giving our child a little bit of insight into what might be going on for us inside, and that we have to draw on strategies to help us, so we can help them think about strategies they can draw on to help them. We're really trying to help children to build that link between knowing that feeling that they've got in their tummy, or they've got in their heart, or they've got in their the rest of their body, and trying to help them understand the name of that emotion, and then hopefully what they can do about those different emotions, how they can express it. And for our children with autism, it might be more tricky identifying the feeling that's going on for them, and it might be quite tricky for them to get that across to another person, or to see the point in telling somebody how they're feeling. So we're trying to help build up that link. And it might be that you're helping them to explore and label what's going on in their bodies. You might want, there's a example here which is from the all the resources that are on the Bristol local offer that Tanya Rawlinson put together, where there's a picture of a body, and it might be that you might want to draw a picture of a body, and draw a little picture on the tummy where you might feel it if you feel a bit worried, and get your child to draw where they might feel it if they feel a little bit worried. Or maybe a plasticine person, and you do it like that. Try and help them make the link of what does it feel like inside. It might be that they're worried about going to school, or they're worried about something else that they're starting up again, football club or something that they're not used to. And it might be that just talking through the school day, you can help them identify which bit of it that they're worried about. Is it going into the classroom in the morning, or is it break time when they have to stay in a particular area but they're not really sure which area it is? So sometimes kind of jotting down a timetable or different pictures of the different parts of the day might be a good tool to help explore with them which bits that they're finding tricky. And ideally, if you can have a chat with school about you being advocate for your child and telling the school if there's something that the child has told you, having a joined up meeting together can be really helpful, so that you can help give them some strategies and ideas and have a bit of a joint thinking so your child feels understood. Another example here is it might be that your child knows that they feel a bit anxious about perhaps going into school in the morning, but they find it difficult to express that with words. So sometimes having a visual, having some pictures that they can hold up to show how they're feeling might be a good tool for them to be able to express that. And there's lots more ideas on the Bristol Local offer.
I'm going to share a few ideas of what helps at home for us, and sort of always thinking and making that link between home and school. So what I've found works really well at home, I will always share with school, and hopefully they can sort of back that up. But again, like Katrina said, all about sort of, you're wanting to model that behavior with your child. I think you're feeling this way. Why don't you? When I feel like that, this is what I do. So I came up with a box that we use at home. I hope you can see that. And I use it a lot for sort of helping my children understand when they're feeling a certain way, this is what you can do to help yourself feel better. So I have sort of some zones here. I have the blue zone at the top, and on here it says, sorry, I don't think you can say, it says you may be feeling sad, you may be moving a bit slow, might be feeling a bit sick or tired or bored. So that's my sort of blue zone. So I might say to my child, oof, I can see, I think you're hanging around a bit and you don't really know what to do. You're walking back and forwards. I think you might be a bit bored. Why don't you go to your blue zone? So then he'll go along to the blue zone, and inside the blue zone, I'll have things that sort of will stimulate him, maybe that bit of sensory stimulation he might need, or, if he's feeling a bit sad or a bit sick, there's a few things in here. So I have things like, this is a vibrating face massager, because I know that was sort of, he likes enjoying putting that around his body and sort of waking up his senses. I have a few things like some word searches and some crosswords that he can do in there. Little things like memory mazes to sort of get him going again. And I'll always put like a packet of sweets or something in there. Just I'm thinking about everything that I can do, and sort of he can teach himself, that will sort of help him feel that little bit, better, a bit more alert, Then we have the yellow zone. So this is when there's a bit of loss of control. Okay, he might be really excited, really silly or wiggly. I've put on here, I've used words that he'll sort of relate to, or feeling a bit frustrated. So I can say, gosh, I think you're feeling, a bit cross. I can see you're a bit frustrated, Kelvin. You don't really know what to do. Run along to your yellow box. So then inside the yellow box is pretty much, a fidget bag. It will have lots of things to keep him occupied and calm him down at the same time. And again, it's all sort of trying to teach him to be able to regulate himself and know what to do in those situations. So it could be a funny one of these funny timers he loves watching, or some silly wiggly bits, a kaleidoscope, just lots of bits in there that I know he'll enjoy, and it will either sort of help sort of ground him again and sort of think, yes, I'm feeling okay, I've had a break. Or the same, if he's sort of a bit frustrated, it can do the same, sort of bring him back down. So that's the yellow zone. And then the red zone is the complete, you know, out of control. I'm terrified, you know, things really aren't going well. You know, I might be really mad, really angry. So I go to the red zone, and quite often than not, I will be the one to say, you know, you've had it, you've had enough, go to your red zone. And in here will be really sort of the things that I know that he really needs at that point. So there'll be some headphones. He loves these sort of stretchy lycra body bags, so he's got one of those. And there'll be some sweets in there as well. So sort of when he's really can't cope with anything, you just need that minute to calm yourself down, you go to your red zone. And what I've found is the more that we've sort of used this at home, and I've sort of really been sort of modelling that, I can see this is how you're feeling. I'm doing less of that now. So he is actually recognising, you know, when he's a bit bored, I'll find him up in the blue box, or it's really worked for us at home. And that's something I've really shared with school, and they've then been trying to sort of use the same language and maybe the same colours of zones that sort of we've been using at home. So it's that relatable home and school to sort of bring down that anxiety, that, you know, whatever it is. And these also work really well for sort of that anxiety and that not really understanding, you know, you've got so many worries, school, going back into school, everything's changed, you know, there's lots of things I don't know anymore that I used to know. And this is just a worry post box that I made out of a shoebox and covered it in some red. You don't have to do that, but it was just more appealing to the eye. And it sort of has on here a few steps. So it says, write or draw on the slips what you're worried about. Drop your worry into the box and then leave your worry behind, and the box will hold on to it for you. So it's sort of that idea of actually, you don't always need to, because I think a lot of the time, you know, they don't necessarily want to hold all these worries inside. And, you know, can you imagine being really cross or angry or upset or worried and keeping that inside? It's quite damaging, I think. So, you know, if they can't necessarily express that to you through communication or letting you know, it's quite a nice way of sort of explaining to them, well, actually, you can get rid of that worry, you know, post that anxiety away, give it a jot on the paper and then let go of it, you know, it's gone. It's another form of communication of just letting it go. And that really worked well for my children.
Thank you. Hopefully there's some ideas to get you thinking about what you might be able to do to support your children. And thank you to all the parents that have given us lots of ideas over the courses that we've been doing with them.
Yeah, thank you.